Hi everybody, another tech talk here. What we're going to be going through today for the Viper2 is doing a head alignment procedure. Head alignments for the Viper2, the factory sets the gap on these machines really well, so they're not really, and it's kind of hard to get to. So by doing this bidirectional alignment, you can actually fine tune how your printer prints, so you can be real accurate. What you'll see if you have an issue, if you have lettering or something like that and it looks doubled or oblong, and it's basically the print head traveling in the direction of the lettering here. So if you had a bidirectional problem, your single lines would look doubled. It's almost like a blur to it. Okay. What it means is the head travels left to right. All right. So there's drag of that ink going behind it. It's just the momentum that it's going past. So if those lines, if it's too far away from the garment or too close to the garment, the print head, then it'll give you this effect right here where you get the bidirectional blur versus the nice crisp lines. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to just run a little test file on here. I'm going to go grab 2 white shirts to see what my head alignment looks like. Okay, so I'll be right back. Just give me 2 seconds. Actually, I might have it right underneath here. And I do. Alright, so what I did was grab 2 white shirts, just 2 standard white shirts. I'm going to go heat press them real quick to mat out the fibers so they're nice and smooth. So just give me 2 seconds and I'll be right back. Alright guys, sorry about the delay there. Okay, so I'm going to back this up. I'm going to move the camera over just a little bit here. We're going to hoop up 2 shirts. Me personally, you notice I don't have the toppers on there. If those toppers ever get like bowed in them, you're going to have to replace those. Either that or you're going to have to use this technique without even using the toppers on top of the platen here. Because if they bow up in the center and stuff, they're not going to be centered, or they'll be higher in the center than they are in the on the edges here, or vice versa down here. So you'll have a crisp print in the middle, but not on the sides. So that's an indication of those little things being popped up. But as you can see, if I just remove them, as long as I keep the shirt taut across there, it doesn't drape down in the center. Might make your life a little bit easier. Alright, so I'm going to do 2 white shirts, and I'll show you the file that I'm going to be printing in just a second. You can create this file on your own if you need to, once you see what it looks like, but if you want a copy of it already done, just email us over at the support department and I can send that over to you. Alright. Now, before I do this procedure, also get in touch with your support technician if you're having these type of issues. Take some pictures of them so that way you can get the proper order of what needs to be done first, okay? What you're going to need to do first is you have to make sure that your platens are level, like all four corners of the four ups are level to the print head, and they're all level together. Okay. I do have a video of how to do that as well. So if you need that, definitely get in touch with us. I can forward you that video over as well. Okay. So I'll load up the machine just like standard. This is going to be a single pass print, so I'm going to make sure that my layer is set on 1. And then I'll go ahead and load the shirts up here. All right. All right, so I'm going to reduce my video here real quick. I'm going to turn that off, and you should still be able to see my screen. All right. This is the file that I'm going to be printing. I opened it up in Photoshop. Let me zoom into it real quick. So if you notice, there's a bunch of just like 1-point stroke lines. That's all there is to it, okay? Basically, what this is going to do is I'm going to print this in the opposite direction that the head travels. So the head will be going left to right across these lines to see if it has bidirectional blur. Okay, so we go ahead and reduce Photoshop here. I've already got the images imported into RIP. This is kind of what it'll look like, and I've got it on both, and I've got it stretched out to do the maximum of the print so that it covers all the way across the plat here. All right, so now let's go ahead and print this. I'm going to check my queue since I had this printer plugged in differently. Let's see here. Make sure my port configuration is correct. All right. Make sure they're all in the same USB number. I use multiple printers, so that's why I have to check this. If you're using your same printer, you won't have to check this. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and hit print. All right, and I'll go ahead and switch back over here to the video. So that way y'all can see this printing. Okay, so let me move, I'll take off my little top panel here. Me personally, I always like to remove this panel during the printing process just to have good airflow going through the machine here. If you don't do that over time, we're talking after a year or two of use, you'll have a lot of caked up like dusted ink that's settled inside that compartment, and you'll end up having to clean a lot more and have to replace parts more frequently. So keeping this open during the printing day is good, and then using it as a dust cover at night will be fine. All right, so I'm going to bring this over so you can see the printing. And I've actually got them going in the wrong direction, so I'm going to stop this print real quick just by powering the machine off. I rotated the design to the wrong direction. They should not be going in the same direction as the head. They should go in the opposite direction. So I just powered off the machine. It automatically ejected it. I'll let it finish powering down completely. Once I hear the beep, then I can power it back up. I don't have to move anything because it's still in the same position that it was. Now they heard the beep, and I can power back up. And then I will come back over here to my software, and I'm going to readjust those. All right, so let's turn off the video so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so what I'm going to do is just right-click on this, open the page. So then I can click on the individual images and rotate them back to none. So that way these lines go in this direction. It should be fine going across here. If I needed to, I could recreate the design so it goes left to right. But we'll just use this right here for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and spool the design. Since my machine's not ready, it's still powering up, as you can hear in the background. All right. So I'll go ahead and get my machine loaded and then send the print job over. Let me go ahead and turn the video back on. All right, so I'm going to hit load here. Okay. So now I'll click back over here on my RIP, hit print. Click back over here on the video. All right. So now these lines should be going in the correct direction. Once it gets past these other lines, you'll be able to see it a little bit clearer. So it's looking like this particular machine doesn't really need a head alignment, but I'm still going to be going through the procedure just to kind of dial it in a little bit clearer. But these lines are really tight and really fresh. So I'll zoom in on them once we get to that point. And I'll show you what a bidirectional, like if you had the double lines, then you would definitely have to do this. So this is just my status checker right now. So in the meantime, while that's printing, I'm going to create this line here. Let's go open this up in Photoshop. So this particular one would be great for the M2. So I need to redo that one and call it something different. Let's go in here. I'm going to change my original file so that way y'all have it. So with this one, I'm going to rename it. Or actually, I'm going to go here and close this one real quick. Alright, rename. I'm going to take off the Viper2 because I want it to stretch across the entire thing. Alright, so delete. Okay, so now I'm going to open this one right here. Alright, so now I'm going to make this for the Viper. I need to make it wider. Okay, so instead of it being long ways, I need to go the other way. So I need to do 11 by 14. So I'll go image rotation, go counterclockwise once. All right, but I got to make the lines go this way. So let me move this out of my way so I can see my layers here. So what I can do is make sure to click on this layer, which is my copy there. And I'm going to rotate this by hitting, or actually I'm going to make this into a smart object so that way it doesn't change my resolution. And then Control T will rotate it 90 degrees. It's got to be exactly 90 degrees. And then I just make the line bigger. So now I have one going the opposite direction. Alright, so now I'm going to go File, Save As, and then Viper2. Okay, so now I've got a separate test file for it, so it rotates the proper way and goes across both planes, all the way across. Okay, so it's just about done printing here. Okay, so I'm going to rotate the camera around here so we can zoom in on these lines. So, I can see down here, let's see if I can get in closer. Let's see if we can get this to zoom in better. See if I can get the auto zoom to work. Okay. So looking at this, let's see if I can get it to focus. All right, let's just pull this shirt off here. All right. So let's see if we can look at this a little bit closer. So in the middle of the platen, you'll notice that my lines are nice and crisp across there. They're not doubled or anything like that. Let's see if we can get a zoom in on that. So there's single lines, whereas right up at the edge where it was starting to wrap around the platen, they kind of doubled up on me. It's hard to zoom on a white shirt. Okay, let's see if I can see it on the other one. Oops, sorry guys. So if I'm looking at this, see if I can get the lines around here. So I notice down here, they're not all the exact same. So it looks like this corner right here, I'm getting double lines where it looks like instead of one line, it's two individual lines for each one of these. All right. But as I get further up this way, they're single. So it's just this bottom corner right here that looks like this corner of the platen is tilted down just a little bit. So I might have to do a level the platen a little bit more. Now, right around the edges of both of these, let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. All right, so around the edges, if I'm looking at this, going around right here, at about right here is where I start seeing a little bit of doubling as the shirt rolls around the corner. That roll means it's getting further away from the print head, and it is doubling those lines. But in the core middle here, they're all single lines, all the way across. Okay. So it's not that bad of a need of a head alignment, but we're going to do the procedure anyway, just so we have that on video. Okay. So to do this, what we'll do, I'll put my platen in here. We're going to get some paper, and we're going to place it right up here on the top. All right, let me move some stuff out of the way. So let me bring you back to this little document that we have here. All right, so in bidirectional printing, the print head is dropping ink as the head moves left to right. Because of this, it makes the print head gap to the print surface a lot more critical. Unidirectional printing basically only drops ink down in one direction, whereas bidirectional is ink down with a print head going back and forth. So they have to line up. All right, so to do this, we need to find on the control panel the main categories like test print. Put a sheet of paper on there in the forward e-stop side of the platen, of the fore-up. Make sure no corners are folded up and the sheet is completely fat. Run the alignment. There are 3 sections and they will all be picking the best of 9. It should look as close to the square as possible, not 3 bars with space or overlapping. Enter your turtles into the control panel in the process of your new sheet of paper. This process may need to be ran as much as 15 times to dial it into perfection. All right, so this is what we're going to do here. We're going to put a piece of paper up on the fore-up platen, and I'm going to do this on video as well. All right, and I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap hanging over the edge. That gives me the shirt wraparound. That's why that gap is there. I'll make sure there's no wrinkles or any flaps sticking up. And if I need to, I can tape the piece of paper down. All right, then I'm going to go to my menu and go into the printer setup and do a print head alignment. Shows you exactly, and then it'll print these 3 sections out. All right, then we'll choose the best of the 3 of all the different sections here. All right, and then choose. All right, so yeah, let me minimize this down. Minimize this and this. So I don't need my RIP software. we'll just do the head alignment on the screen. So let's start my video up again. Let's drag this out a little bit. All right, so let's set the machine up here. Standard piece of paper, it's nice and flat. We'll hang it off just a little bit on the edge. All right, I'll slide it just inside the cover so that way I know it's not going to hit over here on the side. All right, and then I'm going to raise it all the way up to the top until it stops. Then load it. I make sure that I'm on single layer. Once that goes in, menu once, printer setup once, then go down to, oops, let me back out of that, sorry. Menu once, down to head alignment, just in the main menu, hit enter. Or I'm sorry, you have to hit the right arrow key for menu. And then we'll do a manual head alignment. Hit menu again. Paper thickness will always be 0.1 millimeters. Because it's just a thin piece. All right. And then we hit print. So this is going to print those test patterns to that sheet of paper. So just so you can see it printing, it's printing all those little test patterns right there. And then we're going to get up close to them and choose which one's best. Okay, so now we got to take a look here. All right, so we'll switch it around here. And we've got to look at this really closely to see which marks are the best. So now it's asking me for the #1 position. All right, so it marks it with a #1 right there. Okay, and then we've got to choose between all these squares right here, the best one. All right, so let's take a look. I got the paper flipped upside down so we can see it. So 1 is definitely not it. 2 has lines in it as well, right in there. 4 also has lines. I can see a couple little lines in the 7. 8's a little bit better. 9's a little bit better. So we got to choose which one is the best out of all of them. So I'm going to say #8. So we hit the #8 on the keyboard. I use the up and down arrows to make it 8, and then I'll hit enter. All right, so that lined that one up. Now it's asking for BiD #2. #2, slot down. There's these section, these 9 squares. So we'll look at those. Definitely 1 is way off, 2 is way off, 3, 4, 5, and 6. all the way over, and I'm going to say number 9 is the best one on this one because it's a nice solid square. There's no little lines in it or anything like that. So we'll go up to 9, hit enter. All right, and then number 3, the best one out of all of those is number 8. 9 has lines in it, 7 has lines in it, 8's a perfect square. So we'll go up to number 8 and hit enter. All right, so now we're going to get another piece of paper and verify it. We're going to do the exact same thing. Now, like it said in the document, you might have to do this a couple times if yours are way off. You just try to use the best possible match that you can. And you can always verify it. All right, we'll do the head alignment again. Go menu once. Hit the down arrow until it says head alignment. Hit the menu key again. Hit the down arrow to go to manual. Hit the menu key one more time. Paper thickness is 0.1 millimeters. Hit the menu key one more time. And then hit enter to print it. All right, so let's take a look at the new one. All right, so taking a look at all the different ones, I'm going to say number 7 for number 1. And the least amount of lines on number 2 is number 6. Least amount of lines on number 3 is number 7. So it's asking me up here on the screen. Let's see if I can zoom in here a little bit. All right, so you'll see your up and down arrows. So for the number 1, I'll go up to 7. I'm going to hit enter. It's asking for the number 2 one, which is 6. Hit once and then enter. And then 7. Hit enter. All right, let's do one more. Set up another piece of paper here. You always want to make sure it's up at, oops, paper slid off. Hit eject out of that. Hang it off about a ½ inch there. If your paper slides off, you got to start over. All right, let's do it again. Menu once, down to head alignment, menu, manual, menu, 0.1 millimeters, print, enter. And basically what the premise of this is you're trying to get your head alignment so that the number 5 on this sheet of paper is always the best one. So that way you know it's centered. Okay, let's see what we got here. So looking at this, some of this stuff will make you go blind, right? So I'm going to say number 4 for number 2. Number 6 for number 1. Number 6. Okay, so we got to do it one more time. We're going to do 6 for the first one. Enter. Number 4. Enter. For the second one. And number 6 for the third one. Enter. All right. So now we're back. Let's see if they verify it. See what would work. How many of these might I need to do? Many as it takes. Easy answer there. All right, and print. All right. I think we're making progress here. So definitely 5 on the first one. All right. And we'll do 5 on the second one. And we still got 6 on the third one. So we'll just hit enter, enter. And number 3 is number 6. And enter. All right. So I think I'm pretty good on this. We can run it one more time to verify. It's always good to triple check. What's the whole analogy? Measure twice, cut once, that type of thing. All right, let's do it again just to verify. All right. All right, and that's doing a head alignment on the Viper2. Once that is done, we're just going to hit 5, 5, 5, and we're ready. Okie dokie. All right. So, was there any questions on doing the head alignment for the Viper2? If you need to, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll give you a couple seconds to fill out your question, and we can go from there. If not, then we can go on and talk about something else.